the small village of Oke-Aro, people loved telling stories. They said the wind carried tales, the trees whispered secrets, and the earth remembered everything. But the scariest story was about the weeping Baobab tree. The elders said if the tree ever cried red tears, it meant someone long ago had broken a very big promise. No one thought it would ever happen again. No one thought it would happen when a young girl named Amina was alive. One morning, Oke-Aro woke up to strange sounds. Goats were making loud noises and women were whispering to each other. The sun had just started rising when everyone noticed something was wrong. They ran to the big Baobab tree, Orumia, and gasped in shock. The tree was crying blood. Thick red drops flowed down the tree's old bark, making the ground beneath it turn dark. The tree usually drank morning dew, but today, even the earth seemed afraid of the red tears. Baba Ife, the oldest elder in the village, stood close to the tree. His stick was pressed into the ground as he looked at Orumia with his pale, tired eyes. "This is not normal," he said quietly. "This is a broken promise, coming back." The villagers stood close together, scared. Mothers held their children tight. Fathers looked at each other, worried. No one was brave enough to get close to the tree. Amina, a 16-year-old girl with long braided hair, stood among the villagers. Her heart was beating fast. She had always heard stories about Orumia, the magical tree that protected their village, but she never thought she would see it cry. She looked at her mother, Mama Aduk, who pulled her close and whispered, "Keep quiet, Amina. This is for the elders to handle." But Amina couldn't stop looking at the crying tree. Deep inside, she felt something strange, like the tree's sadness was also her own. The villagers slowly walked away, whispering prayers. The elders went to their secret meeting hut. Nobody asked any questions aloud, but everyone was thinking the same thing. What had gone wrong? That night, while the village was quiet, Amina sat in the shadows of her hut. She listened carefully, trying to hear what the elders were saying. She couldn't stop thinking about the crying tree. She knew she had to find out the truth. That night, Amina could not sleep. She kept hearing whispers in the wind. They sounded like someone calling her name. "Amina, Amina." She sat up and looked around. Everyone in the hut was sleeping. Slowly she tiptoed outside. The night was cool and quiet, but Orunmia, the big tree, was still crying. The red tears shined under the moonlight. As Amina walked closer, the whispers grew louder. "Amina, child of Morayo." Suddenly the bark of the tree moved. A face appeared. It was an old, sad face with eyes that looked very tired. "There is a secret," the tree said. "A promise was broken long ago. Someone in the village knows, but they are hiding it. You must find the truth, Amina. If you don't, the village will suffer." Amina was so scared she dropped to her knees, but deep inside, she knew the tree was right. She had to help. The face in the tree faded away, and the whispers stopped. Everything became very quiet. Amina stood up slowly and walked back to her hut. Her heart was beating fast. She knew her life was about to change. The next morning, Amina felt different. She had a secret now. The tree had spoken to her. At breakfast, Mama Aduke noticed. "You went outside last night," she said. Amina nodded. "The tree spoke to me, Mama." Mama Aduk's face became serious. "No, Amina, don't talk about this. You are young. The elders will handle it." But Amina saw fear in her mother's eyes, a fear that told Amina she was right to be curious. Later that day, While the elders met in secret, Amina watched from afar. They whispered about betrayal and old promises, but no one said what had really happened. Amina knew the tree had chosen her. She had to do something. That evening, when the sun started to go down, Amina packed a small bag with water, some herbs, and a bracelet her grandmother had given her. She sneaked away quietly. She was going to the forbidden forest, Igbo Alufa, a place where old promises were hidden. The forest was dark and full of tangled vines. It felt like the trees were watching her, but Amina kept walking, her heart full of courage. Deep inside the forest, she found an old shrine covered in moss. On the stone was a symbol of a hand holding a broken chain. Under it was a name, Efunsetan. Amina touched the name, and suddenly a soft light came from the shrine. A woman appeared, glowing gently. She looked like Amina, but older. I am Efunsetan Morayo, the spirit said. My blood is in Orunmia. Efunsetan told Amina how the elders had found a secret plant called Ewe Ajogun, which had powerful magic, but they became greedy and broke their promise to protect the balance of the village. When Efunsetan tried to stop them, they called her a witch and sent her away. The tree remembers, Efunsetan said. It cries for justice. You, Amina, must heal the wound. There is a hidden door beneath Orunmia. You must find it. Amina felt scared, but also brave. I will do it, she promised. Efunsetan smiled and slowly disappeared. The forest became quiet again. Amina turned back to Oke-Aro. She knew her journey was just beginning. The next day, the whole village was talking. Some people were happy the tree had stopped crying, but others were afraid. They knew something big had changed, and not everyone liked change. The elders called for a meeting. They sat on their big chairs and spoke with loud voices, trying to calm everyone. We must be careful, Elder Sola said. There are those who want to bring confusion. But Amina stood up bravely. I do not want confusion. I want the truth. The tree has been crying because of secrets. We must stop hiding. People began whispering. Some nodded. Others frowned. That night, Amina and her friends knew the elders would not give up easily, but they had shown the village what was hidden. Now, more people were listening. The next day, Dapo went to his father, Elder Sola. Father, we cannot keep lying, Dapo said. The tree is part of our family. We must take care of it, not use it for power. Elder Sola looked tired. He sat down slowly. I was afraid, Dapo, afraid to lose control, but perhaps it is time to let go. Slowly, the elders began to change. They saw that the young ones were not trying to destroy traditions, but to save them. Amina's mother, Mama Aduke, also stood beside her daughter. My sister Efunsetan was right. The truth must be spoken. The village decided to hold a big ceremony. They called it the Day of Balance. Everyone came together under the Baobab tree. They sang songs of truth and forgiveness. Amina led the ceremony. She poured water at the roots of Orunmia and whispered, We remember. We will protect. The tree's leaves shimmered in the sunlight. Its branches seemed to smile. From that day, the keepers of balance were part of the village council. The elders and the young worked together to keep Oke-Aro safe and fair. The village changed, the fields grew greener, and the people laughed more. The tree never cried again. Years later, when Amina became an elder herself, she would sit under Orunmia and tell children the story of the day the Baobab wept and how the village found its truth. And whenever the wind blew through the tree's branches, it whispered back, balance.